Hey, welcome back to Self-Reliance. Today we want to do a video talking about pregnancy preps, different items that we needed when my wife was pregnant and that helped her a lot. Most of these I would say are pretty much a need. Had we not had them, Shawnee would have been miserable or had died or something. I don't know. We were thrown up forever. I don't know.
That wasn't good.
Yeah. All right. So first thing we want to talk about that everybody knows and most people have is prenatal vitamins.
We started out with chewy prenatals because they taste amazing. Mm-hmm. I love them. I started on these about 2 months before we decided we wanted to start trying for a baby. So I had a nice amount of nutrients that I would need. And it was really great up until morning sickness hit around week 7. Mm-hmm. And then I could not eat these anymore. It was absolutely no. So that's when I switched to these swallowable pills, no flavor. We had these set back about a year's worth of them, way before we decided to try for a baby. These also have iron in them. The chewy ones do not have iron in them. Yeah, some women get sick with the iron. And
so they use the chewy ones so that some women say they don't get sick if they use the chewy prenatals because the tablet form makes them sick. But Shawnee didn't have that, so we used
it was just about swallowing things, just flavored things were an absolute no-go.
Yep.
I also got fish oil, which I don't think everybody needs, but I don't eat fish, and fish is recommended for pregnant women to get the nutrients they need for the baby. Mm-hmm. So I was taking the fish oil supplements just because I'm missing the fish in my diet.
Yeah. It's funny because doctors are like, you need to eat fish, but when you're getting nauseous and throwing up all the time.
Fish are so stinky.
So
the big one was the one we originally got for me, but it was hard to swallow. And again, with the morning sickness, something hits the back of my throat and I immediately start to gag. So we switched to the smaller pill.
Yeah.
So I've always had an issue with migraines. So I would take Excedrin for the migraines, which is basically caffeine, acetaminophen, and aspirin, just in one pill. Once I was pregnant, I wasn't allowed to have aspirin because it's a blood thinner, and the doctors say no aspirin when you're pregnant. So we went to the dollar store. You have energy tabs, which is just caffeine. They come about 80 milligrams a pill. And then we got acetaminophen, which my doctor said was okay.
Also from the dollar store. Dollar store is awesome for little things like that.
So I just made sure to match the same amount of milligrams I would have had if it had been Excedrin, just acetaminophen instead of aspirin. Turned out once morning sickness hit, I stopped getting migraines, so I ended up not needing this, but it was good in case I did need it.
Yeah. And we had that set back before the pregnancy. I've noticed that I knew the 3 ingredients in Excedrin, the headache medication, and so I noticed the dollar store sold those separately, so I got them all. And it was just lucky that we needed them in the future. We didn't know, that wasn't planned, that we needed to get rid of the aspirin. So that ended up working out really well. We were lucky that way.
The next thing was diclegis. We did not have this prepared. We didn't know how bad morning sickness was going to be.
Diclegis is a on-brand medication for pregnancy nausea, is what it's
for pregnancy nausea. I think it's only been available for the last few years. My nausea hit at about 6 weeks or about 7 weeks, and it was really bad. I went to see the doctor, and they prescribed the diclegis. And when we went to the pharmacy to pick it up, we found out it was going to be $450 a month. That's a lot of money, and some people have morning sickness through the entire pregnancy. So that could, add up really fast. We wanted to save that money for, paying for the hospital bills and all of that. So that was a no-go. We did pick up a week's worth so that I could try it out, and it was amazing. It was night and day difference. I went from throwing up like every 15 minutes to throwing up once or twice a day. Still nauseated all day, but it was much more doable. I was able to go to work every day and focus.
The worst part was you were just like dry heaving every 15 minutes.
I hated the dry heaving.
Oh.
So Roland did some research about the diclegis and found out that it is literally Unisom and vitamin B6.
2 ingredients.
So we went to the store and we got Unisom and we got vitamin B6. and I started eating those instead because that costs, less than $5 for us to have a year's worth, maybe, of that. So much better savings. It's super useful if you have bad morning sickness. It's an absolute lifesaver, but you have to have a prescription for it. So you have to already be pregnant. So if you're with a preparedness mindset and you want to have things ready just in case or for the future, then it really is nice to have the 4-man's diclegus, the Unisom V6.
And make sure you talk to your doctor about that. We're not doctors. We looked it up and tried it out ourselves, and it worked for us. But who knows if it's actually going to work for you.
The one issue that I have with that is that those pills, they are swallowable, but they're the cheap kind that the second they hit your tongue, they start dissolving. So we got these capsules.
Yep. Size 0 gel capsules. They're just empty capsules that you can put stuff in.
And Roland would, at first he'd crush up the pills and put them in the capsules, I'd swallow them. And then he discovered that it was a lot less work to just crush up the pill a little bit, like maybe break it in half and then stick it inside the capsule. And it would not melt on my tongue, so I could swallow it without, gagging on it, without any of those issues.
And the capsule's a larger capsule, but it's not quite as large as like calcium or something like that. But in the middle of it, she was complaining that she was sleeping. She was tired all the time.
I was having a really hard time getting up in the morning for work. I was having a really hard time after lunch, when that after lunch drowsiness hits, it was much worse.
So I halved the amount of sleep. I just took the sleeping pill and broke it in half, and then I didn't tell her that I did it. And so she was taking that, and she was like, I don't feel quite so tired anymore. And then I told her that I halved the sleeping dosage, but left the vitamin B6 the same dosage. And she was super excited, and so we ended up doing that.
It was great, because it still worked fine. One day I tried not taking it, because I'd done so well for like a week straight. And that next day, after not taking it, it was just horrible. So I believe that I had morning sickness up until about 24 weeks. So it was a long time. That was really important in an emergency situation where you have a limited amount of food. You can't be throwing up all your food, and just a no-go. I got heartburn for the first time. And
first time in her life. Never gotten heartburn before.
I don't know if I mentioned earlier in the video, but I'm a very picky eater, which is a huge problem. But
she loves rice and beans, so we've got tons of rice and beans.
I love rice and beans. Those are cheap, they store well, so that works. But when it came to heartburn, it was keeping me up at night. But I could not stand the heartburn meds, Tums, or I tried a few different brands. I just couldn't, because I was still a little bit nauseated, and I just couldn't do it. We found out that these are calcium.
Calcium carbonate.
So I just started taking a calcium supplement. That my doctor said it was totally fine to take a calcium supplement because it's not already in the prenatals, and it'll help to deal with the stomach acid in your stomach. It doesn't help, once I've already gotten it up into my throat and stuff. But it's better than nothing, and I couldn't eat the other thing.
Yeah, and that helps a lot.
Oh, and it also helps because the baby can leach the calcium out of your bones.
Yep.
Ruin your teeth. So it's good to have a calcium supplement. We had these pregnancy tests stored back for a while. We got them on Amazon. They're super cheap. It's just the test strip. It's not pretty. You can't post it on Pinterest saying, look, I'm pregnant,
It's just a little strip.
It does the job. Cheap and simple. You can buy them bulk. They're
like 40 cents a piece.
40 cents a piece instead of, like $10.
Yep.
And when I wanted to know if I was pregnant, I wanted to use one every day. This made it really cheap.
Yep.
Instead of having to go out and get the fancy digital ones all the time.
And she got a digital one once she saw the slight little line on it.
Because I tested really early, like earlier than I should have. I was like, oh, am I imagining that line? And so I did get a digital one just to confirm.
And it said yes.
Yes, and it said yes. But if I waited another week, and a week later I did try one just to see, and the line was very obvious, so they work great. Last thing, these vomit bags. So when I was vomiting all the time and we had to go somewhere, it was a really big pain in the butt because we'd either have to have something in the car, I would have to hold it open while trying to hold my hair back because he can't help me because he's driving. Or we'd have to pull over and then I'd hang out in a parking lot for 10 minutes. And I'm like, am I going to throw up? No, I think I'm good. And I'd get back in the car and I'm like, no, I'm not good. And I would get back out of the parking lot. You know, and people are probably wondering, who's that drunk woman throwing up in the parking lot? It was just awkward. It was no good. So these things are nice for throwing up into because I don't have to hold them open so I can hold my hair back. You can put it right over your mouth, no splashback. And it was we just kept them in the car and it was really nice.
We thought about doing like a grocery bag, but a lot of the times those have holes in the bottom.
Holes in the bottom.
And they're hard to open. And I just ordered these on eBay for like a dozen of them for a few dollars. And it's from China. The nice part about eBay is you can get really cheap stuff, but it's going to take a month or two to get to your house. So as long as it's not a big deal. So we got that shipped to our house, and those ended up being really handy. We keep them in the car anyways, even after the pregnancy now, because it's super nice. Like if you got some kid or somebody in the car that feels car seat, you
probably can't guarantee that a kid will actually make it in. They have terrible aim, but you could try.
So one thing that a lot of preppers are probably going to notice that we don't have here is like a labor kit. A lot of people will buy a kit that has like gloves and like an apron and bags and things for labor at home, like an emergency labor at home. And I didn't purchase anything like that. I thought it was a bit too over the top, which is funny because I have plenty of emergency preps that are a bit over the top.
Yeah.
But I just thought delivering a baby is so beyond my skill level that preparing for something like that is just silly. And what I should really do is just find some doctor locally or something that could help deliver it at home or something like that.
I would recommend to be good friends with your neighbors. Find a neighbor that's a nurse, that's a doctor.
Yeah.
Be good friends with them so you can always go over to their house if there's a huge emergency or call them over to your house.
Yeah. And a lot of people have relatives. Like we've got an aunt that works in the hospital doing baby stuff all the time. So she would be pretty skilled with that. She doesn't live too far away. So I would much rather search for somebody that I know or find somebody if it gets near time and there's no doctor, there's no hospital available. But I didn't see it. I didn't deem it necessary to try to have some kit to do a labor and delivery ourselves. It's just too ridiculous, I think. All right, that's it for this video. We're going to do a second video talking about changes to her bug-out bag. We had to make it lighter and things like that because she couldn't carry all the weight that she had. We've done mock bug-outs using that bag, and so we decided to change things up and do a new bag and make sure that she can actually carry it around. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think if we missed anything, needed to add anything, or
if you have any other good ideas.
Yeah. All right, thanks for watching.